We're back here at Veterans Stadium. We're going to check the Sherwin-Williams starting lineup for the Expos tonight. Marquise Grissom to be followed by Rondell White. Then comes Moises Alou. Larry Walker hits cleanup. Will Cordero bats fifth. Lenny Webster's the catcher. Sean Berry at third. Mike Lansing at second. And Pedro Martinez on the hill.
Defensively, the Phillies have John Kruk at first base, Mickey Morandini at second, Kevin Stalker is the shortstop, and Kim Batiste at third. Tony Longmire plays left field this evening with Lenny Dykstra in center, Jim Eisenreich in right, Mike Lieberthal behind the plate, and on the mound, 29-year-old left-hander David West. West is making his 13th start of the season. His last start was on the 31st of July in Atlanta and was his shortest stint of the season. David lasted just 2 2/3 innings in that ball game, giving up 4 runs on 4 hits, walking 2, and had a wild pitch and did not have a strikeout. He did get off the hook, but the Phillies ended up losing that ball game to the Braves by a score of 9-5. So David West looking for a rebound outing tonight.
Well, you can see we've got a wet carpet here at Veterans Stadium, although the infield is dry, but we did have some rain here in the Philadelphia area this afternoon, so we will see some balls scooting in the outfield. Marquise Grissom hitting at .291 to lead it off for Montreal. And the first pitch is high, ball 1. 70 degrees here at game time tonight. High again, ball 2. Grissom against David West. No hits in 2 at bats for him. West did face Montreal once in relief this year. He came into a ball game, walked 1 batter, and that batter came around to score. The only batter he faced. Jerry Lane calling balls and strikes. Dana DeMuth at first, Tom Hallion at second, and Paul Runge at third. 2 balls and 1 strike. Inside corner, it's 2-2 on Marquise Grissom, who over the last 17 games is hitting at a cool .371. And 4 home runs during that span. Got in. Pitch was up a little bit, but Grissom could not lay off, and West does what he couldn't do Sunday, as you mentioned, Teak. No strikeouts, but he starts with 1 tonight.
Well, gets Grissom on a fastball up and out of the strike zone. After being behind 0-2, gets back to 2-2. Grissom has to expand a little bit, not able to catch up to the high heater.
And now Rondell White. He missed a few games recently because of a sprained right ankle, which he suffered running the bases. He had a ball game on the 24th of July where he had a career high 7 RBIs. It was only 1 short of the club record, which is held jointly by Andre Dawson, Tim Wallach, and Chris Spire. Curveball, it missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think every pitcher wants to get that first breaking ball over, don't they?
Well, get in the comfort zone. David had thrown the fastball because he got behind on the first hitter. You like to get that first breaking ball over, get the feel of it. You can't throw exclusively fastballs all night long.
He gets ahead in the count here, 1-2 on Rondell White. The Expos come in hot. They have won 6 of 7. They were cooled off last night by the Cardinals, but they've won 14 of their last 16. There's a curveball that again misses. 2-2. I would think the Atlanta Braves got to be feeling some heat right now.
Well, 5 games behind, and you just don't know. Obviously, if the season ends on next Friday, it doesn't matter, because if it finishes off that way and there is no playoffs or World Series, ball fouled off down the right side. Crooker not quite able to get there. But if it stops there and doesn't start again, no playoffs and World Series, there's no bonus to being in first place anyway, because you don't play anymore. But if the season resumes at some point, if it is stopped and resumed, those pennant races are going to have to be continued. And the farther the Atlanta Braves fall behind the Expos, the longer the thing runs, the tougher it's going to be for them to catch up.
Let's see what Lieberthal has in mind here.
A little fastball on the outside part.
Got it inside, and it's ripped down to the left field corner, but a foul ball. I think David didn't get that ball outside as far as he wanted to.
Didn't get it outside at all.
And Rondell White cracked his bat. That'll teach him to swing at those inside fastballs. Teak, I'm going to put you on the spot here tonight. I meant to do this yesterday and somehow didn't get around to it. But that's why we have another chance here. What do you make of this labor situation? Do you think there is going to be a strike?
I'm not as convinced as everybody is that, it's a done deal. I still think that there is hope that this thing can be worked out, and maybe it's the optimist in me that always feels that there will be a way. From having been experienced with it before, I know that not much movement is going to take place until you run up against that crisis point. We start getting to the middle of next week, a lot of things can happen in a hurry. I know in 1985 I was involved in those negotiations, and that basic agreement was basically done in a 2-hour period. So when the time is right, it can be done quickly.
White with just a piece of it. Well, we all hope you're absolutely correct about that. I don't think anybody, even the players or the owners, really want to see a strike. What they want to see is a settlement. But of course, in their cases, they want to each see it on their own terms. And Jim Fregosi admits that, with this kind of thing hanging over your ball club, it's hard to keep it out of your mind. Got him. David West with a foul.
Off and again gets White on the high heater. Pitch up is the fastballs earlier in the count that were down in the strike zone. You take Rondell White's high level, drop it down, and then all of a sudden you pop that high one up. That high one's a little quicker.
Here's the 4th top hitter in the league, Moises Alou. He won the All-Star game for the National League this year. Fouls that one, strike one on Alou. He has 131 hits to place 7th in the National League. Among the National League leaders in average, hits, runs, slugging percentage.
That's pretty much what you go up to the plate to do, isn't it?
Really?
Average, hits, runs, slugging percentage.
Takes a strike, and West is ahead in the count, 0-2. David coming out looking good and got his breaking ball over there.
Yeah, and the key to me so far is that the majority of those pitches have been down in the strike zone. David West, when the ball is down in the strike zone, has much better control than when the ball is up. Establish the strike zone down and then go up for your strikeouts.
Misses with that breaking ball, 1-2 the count. West has 1-1 lifetime against the Expos with a 1.50 earned run average. His earned run average against them this year is infinity because he gave up a run without retiring a batter the only time he faced them. Curveball for a called third strike. David West strikes out the side to start the activities. And down go the Expos. Phillies coming up.
It's a great-looking bag that holds lots of stuff. All fans 14 and under get a free oversized equipment bag courtesy of Pico Energy when the Phillies play the Rockies Sunday, August 28th at 1:35. Call 463-1000.
Now let's check the Sherwin-Williams starting lineup for the Phillies tonight. Leading off is Lenny Dykstra, followed by Mickey Morandini, then Jim Eisenreich. John Kruk bats cleanup. Tony Longmire, Kim Batiste, Mike Lieberthal, Kevin Stocker, and David West.
Defensively, the Montreal Expos have Larry Walker at first base, Mike Lansing at second, Will Cordero is the shortstop, and Sean Berry the third baseman. Rondell White plays left field with Marquise Grissom in center, Moises Alou in right. Lenny Webster is doing the catching this evening, and on the mound, 5'11", 170-pound right-hander Pedro Martinez. Pedro's making his 22nd start of the season, and when you look at his numbers, there are two that jump out at you. Number one, one of the impressive ones is the 129 strikeouts that he has acquired in only 128 innings pitched, and of course his most publicized number, the 11 hit batters. And it makes me wonder. I look at those numbers, got 11 hit batters. Is it just coincidence that he's also given up 11 home runs?
Well, now I know what you're saying, but we'd have to go back and check, wouldn't we, to see whether he's always hitting somebody right after a homer.
Well, within a reasonable time thereof. Whatever the case is, Martinez is looking for his 10th win tonight for the Montreal Expos, who lead the National League Eastern Division.
Is it true that he hits only right-handed batters? He doesn't hit left-handed batters?
He has, for the majority of the time, hit the right-handed batters, and it's because he has that live riding fastball, that one that tails in on the right-handers. With that kind of movement on the fastball, very difficult to hit the left-handers because anything that starts at him, they're going to move out of the way, and it moves back toward the plate. But when a right-hander starts getting out of the way, the ball actually follows him.
Dykstra drawn a lot of walks lately. 12 walks in the last 10 ball games, takes a called strike.
Speaking of Martinez's pitches, besides that fastball, he also throws a slider and a changeup. 3-pitch pitcher.
Inside a ball. They acquired him, of course, in the offseason from the Dodgers for Delino DeShields. One of those rare trades where stars are involved. You don't see too many of them anymore.
Yeah, but at that point in time when the trade was made, Martinez was not an established star. He was a reliever in the Dodger bullpen last year, but he has become a star this summer for the Montreal Expos.
Yeah, I don't think they ever had in mind that they were going to use him as a reliever. Their bullpen, of course, is loaded. They have one of the best bullpens in baseball.
Yeah, they acquired him as a starting pitcher, but he had not had any previous, or not very little previous major league experience as a starter.
They lost another starter named Martinez, Dennis, leaving them as a free agent this offseason. High fly, well hit right field, but not well hit enough. Caught by Alou. Lenny got up under it. So that's the first out, and Mickey Morandini will bat. 70 degrees here at game time. The humidity 81%, but it sure doesn't feel like it. It feels like fall here tonight. Clearing and cooler. Going to have a great night at the ball game tomorrow for Steve Carlton night here tomorrow. Morandini batting at .297, a pair of homers, 26 runs batted in. On the inside corner for a strike, and obviously Mickey doesn't think so. Breaking ball, it missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pedro Martinez, 23 years of age, from the Dominican Republic. He had reconstructed shoulder surgery, but it's not on his pitching shoulder. It was on his left shoulder back in October of 1992. Hard hit, base hit, Morandini. Mickey becomes the first base runner of the ball game.
The Martinez fastball, you see the target, Webster's target on the inside part of the plate. It wanders back out to the middle, right out in that good hitting zone. That's the danger that you have with that tailing fastball against a left-handed hitter, that if you don't get it started off the plate inside and let it tail to the inside corner, if you start it on the inside corner, it goes right back to the middle of the plate, and that's a good spot for left-handers to hit it.
Eisenreich has been a hot hitter since the All-Star break. Pedro steps off. He's hitting .364 since the break. In the month of July, he led the Phillies with 16 runs batted in. Montreal looking for a double play here. It brings up the point that usually a good team is a good defensive team, but the Expos are really just middle of the pack. As a matter of fact, they've committed the second most errors in the league.
Well, there are 3 areas that you look at when you're looking at a ball club. There's offense, defense, and pitching. Normally 2 of the 3 will make you a good ball club. The worst combination of the bunch is hitting and defense without any pitching. The Expos have the offense and the pitching.
Ball gets wild, and Morandini takes second base. That'll probably be an error on Martinez, I would think. Although Larry Walker is not an experienced first baseman by any means, that throw, you'd have to say, was catchable. Let's take a look at it here.
Martinez with a good move.
Ooh.
No, that's got to be Walker's. That ball is definitely catchable. Shoulder high, just a little bit to the home plate side, but not that much. Larry just not able to get the glove wrapped around it. Lenny was able to pick the ball up right away and see that it was going over against the stands, get up and scamper to second base.
Well, that's their 89th error of the year.
Like we said, they have offense and pitching. The missing element is the defense.
Larry Walker telling you on our Sports Channel pregame show that he's starting to feel very confident over there at first base, but he just flat out missed that one.
I'll say a few too many of those, and you'll lose some of that confidence.
We had Merced missing a ball here. Do you think there's something wrong with first base?
There's something going on over in the area.
2 balls and no strikes on Eisenreich. Runner at second, 1 out. Jimmy has played more games than any other Phil. Tonight is his 98th game. There's ball 3. That didn't miss by much, but it's 3-0 on Eisenreich. Takes a look at Larry Boa. Well, we're going to have left-handers here tomorrow night. It's only fair. It's going to be Steve Carlton night, so you got to have left-handers.
Got to be lefty night.
Fernando Valenzuela for the Phillies, and Butch Henry for Montreal. Ball 4, 2 on with 1 out. Pedro issues the walk, and Lenny Webster comes out to have a word with him.
Talking about defense with the Montreal Expos, one thing we want to keep an eye on tonight. Marquise Grissom, the Montreal Expos center fielder, plays one of the most shallow center fields in the National League. I mentioned how wet the turf is out there. Those balls are going to scoot up the gap a little quicker than normal, so the Phillies can get a couple of those line drives in the gap. Grissom is going, even with the good speed, is going to have a tough time on this wet turf getting over to cut those balls off.
When the Phillies recently went to Montreal and swept the Expos in a 3-game series, a couple of balls were hit over Grissom's head. Pop foul out of play by Kruk. John at 297 with 4 homers, 34 runs batted in. You got to look at Felipe Alou in the dugout. He just rejoined his ball club tonight. His 89-year-old father died this past week, and he went home for the funeral. Felipe did not arrive here at Veterans Stadium till about 4:45 tonight. Tim Johnson, bench coach, ran the club in his absence. He went 1-1. Of course, Tim was unlucky enough to inherit the number 4 and 5 starters too.
There's Tim, back to his normal bench coach duties. I think he's probably happy that it's that way.
Yeah, because he didn't have a bench coach.
He didn't have a bench coach, and now he doesn't have to answer the questions.
Yeah. And there are always questions.
Oh, even when things are going good, there are questions.
Kruk may have broken his bat. It didn't sound very good, and he flings it away. It's a fly ball out into left field where White puts it away for the 2nd out. John Kruk wanted a whole lot more out of that than what he got. So John returns to the dugout, and it's up to Tony Longmire, who is back in the starting lineup. Tony had an outfield collision with Lenny Dykstra here the other night. He was used as a pinch hitter yesterday, but this is his first start since that outfield collision. Tony at 220, no homers, 14 runs batted in. Breaking ball from Martinez misses. I mentioned 220 is his average, but he perks up when he's got runners in scoring position.
And he does right now.
One ball, one strike.
Against Martinez, the Phillies are going to have to do the majority of their damage in the first 5 spots. The first 5 hitters all left-handed. Don't look for a whole lot of production out of Batiste and Lieberthal tonight. Martinez, very difficult on a right-hander. That tailing fastball and that hard slider away, a tough combination for the right-handed hitters. So if the job's going to get done, chances are pretty good that the majority of the work is going to have to be done by the top 5 in the lineup. And then, of course, as you turn it over, if Stalker can get something going at the bottom, allow West to move him along, and then get back to those left-handers at the top, that's a bonus.
2-1 pitch. It's 2-2 on Longmire. And look out if the Expos get a lead late in the ball game. What a great bullpen they have. Can bring in Mel Rojas to set up John Wetland, and generally it's over. Must say, though, that the Phillies have had their share of success off both Rojas and Wetland. Struck him out on high heat. Pedro Martinez gets a strikeout, and the Phillies are retired in the first. No runs, 1 hit, an error, 2 men left, and at the end of 1, 0-0. 0-0, we go to the 2nd inning, and Cento Italian Food Products is rooting for the Phillies this season. For every Phillies home run, Cento will donate $200 to the Philadelphia Child Guidance Center. Cento has a full quality line of Italian tomatoes, all-purpose crushed tomatoes, tomato puree, Italian peeled tomatoes. Or is it tomatoes? Well, here we go with Larry Walker to lead it off. Your pregame guest is going to try to become the first batter to hit a fair ball off David West tonight. He struck out the side in the first. Walker having committed an error bottom half of the first, but it did not cost his team. He says right field looks like it's about 6 miles from the plate, huh? Caught by West. Well, there go the strikeouts, but he gets the foot out on that one. Walker lines to West.
Well, chances were good he wasn't going to strike out all 27 anyway, so if you can't get a strikeout, you might as well get the put out. Here's a jam shot. Walker breaks the bat. Soft line drive. West able to react and get his big glove on it.
And if you're not going to strike him out, you may as well get the out on one pitch. How about the shortstop batting fifth? And Will Cordero does lead all National League shortstops in average, in home runs, and in RBIs.
That's why he's batting fifth.
And he was an all-star selection, but normally you would think of Barry Larkin, power category. West misses with a breaking ball. 2-0 on Cordero. Cordero does, however, commit his share of errors. And West gets behind 3-0. A good hitter against the Phillies. Three one.
Cordero, just another one of those players that I was talking to Larry Walker about that have come up through the Montreal Expos system. Only 22 years old, signed by the Expos as a free agent. They just keep producing them. They get them young, talented, and to the big leagues.
The Expos have their first base runner. Walks have been a bugaboo for David West. Batters are hitting only .207 off West, but he's 6th in the league in walks. That's the 55th walk he has issued. Lenny Webster, he has hurt the Phillies. And the Montreal catchers, as a group, have knocked in 82 runs. That's their most productive position. And it's second among catching staffs in the league. Only the Dodgers catchers knock in more. It's high, ball one.
Of course, 95% of that Dodger offense is Mike Piazza.
Indeed. Webster had a career game here at the Vet back on May 18th. He had 4 RBIs. Expos won that game 6-1. He went 3 for 5. First time he'd ever played a game against the Phillies. 2-0. West falling behind the count and his second hitter in a row. Have to remember that it was wildness which caused West to enter the starting rotation to begin with. He was not effective out of the bullpen. Jim Fregosi decided to give him a start in St. Louis early in the year. There's that high heat. Webster doesn't get it. And West was so effective in that ball game that Jim just kept sending him out there because other pitchers got hurt and he needed a starter, and West has become one of the best left-handed starters in the league. Foul ball. Out of play. Well, isn't that nice? Two balls and 2 strikes on Lenny Webster. Webster was with the Twins from '89 through '93. Hard ground ball. Batiste gets a little leather on it, knocks it into foul ground. Here goes Cordero to third base. He's being sent around third. Throw from the outfield. He's out.
What a job by Mike Lieberthal. Not the biggest of guys behind the plate, but he stood tall on that play right there. Tony Longmire gets the ball, kind of off-balance throw, throws it in the air, but Cordero's home ahead of the throw. Lieberthal with just a great job of planting himself in front of the plate and not allowing Cordero to get there.
He just made him stop short. You're right. He was there ahead of the throw, but
there's no doubt he had the throw beat, but Lieberthal just planted himself. Contact is made just as Lieberthal is catching the ball, so not only was he able to keep himself under control and catch the ball, but hold his ground and keep Cordero away from the plate, saving the Phillies a run.
I gotta tell you, that's going to earn yourself some points with your teammates. And Cordero says, yeah, I was out. I didn't get there. It's a double for Webster. Here's the ball bouncing away, but no advance. So the Expos have their first hit of the ball game on Webster's double, but it's still scoreless, and that was a terrific play by the youngster Mike Lieberthal.
And those are the kind of plays as a catcher that you dread, because the throw is up high you're reaching up to catch the throw. The runner sliding in at your feet. You can't see him because your concentration's up on the ball. Mike made the play as good as you can make it.
Yesterday, Lenny Dykstra threw out Garcia at third base. Tonight, Longmire throws out Cordero at the plate. Two balls and no strikes on the hitter, Sean Berry. He's batting .270 with 10 homers, 39 RBIs. And it's ball three. 3-0 on Sean Berry. Webster at second base. Scoreless ball game. We're in the top of the second. Berry becomes the second batter walked this inning. That'll bring up the number 8 hitter Mike Lansing, the second baseman. 2 on for the Expos. 2 outs. Here's Lansing batting .264. 4 homers, 34 RBIs. He made the team out of spring training a year ago as a non-roster player, and here he is a regular, and was so good last year that it was his play that determined they could trade Delino DeShields. Ideally, West would like to get Lansing to end the inning and start next inning with Pedro. Inside, ball 1.
We talk about the strength of the Montreal Expo offense. Mike Lansing, the number 8 hitter, has the lowest batting average in the lineup at .264, but that's pretty good ball club when your lowest hitter in the lineup is hitting .264.
He chases the West high hard one.
Of course, that's with the exclusion this evening of the pitcher Pedro Martinez.
Well, yeah.
But
Pedro does have a triple, though, this year. 24 of his last 32 games. Strike right down the middle. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Mike Lansing. David tonight making his 13th start, but his 30th appearance of the year for the Phillies. Breaking ball hit to short. Stocker has the play at first, gets it over in time for the out. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No runs, a hit, 2 men left on base. Go to the last of the second, scoreless.
back at Veterans Stadium, a scoreless game as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Well, would you like to find out more about Phillies Dream Week and why we have so much fun? Then I suggest you call right now for more information, either for you or for the perfect gift. Call right now. Space is very limited. The number 215-938-1200. Remember, there is now a very affordable and popular 4-year payment plan that makes this dream a reality. So for more information on Phillies Dream Week in Florida this February, call 215-938-1200. Remember, act now. The first week is already sold out, and the second week is filling up fast. So call now for Phillies Dream Week.
All right, Teak, we go to the last of the second. It's a scoreless ball game. Phillies get a little pick-me-up from that block of the plate to keep the Expos off the board. Let's see what they can do offensively. Here's Kim Batiste. You mentioned that Pedro Martinez is extremely tough on right-handed batters, but Batiste is 1 for 2 off Pedro this year. Kim at .254, a homer, 13 runs batted in. We're playing every day in Mariano Duncan's absence. Duncan is eligible to come off the DL on the 9th of the month.
I was mentioning Martinez very tough against right-handed hitters. That combination of that fastball that runs back in towards you, and then the slider, that hard-breaking slider that he throws it, it's just about the same speed, but then at the last minute moves away from you. Tough for a hitter to adjust to. About the only chance that right-handed hitters have, or probably I shouldn't say the only chance, but their best chance is for Martinez to hang one of those sliders that will stay out in the middle of the plate and stay up a little bit, but doesn't do that very often.
Out of play. Well, we mentioned earlier that he has given up 11 home runs this year. So he's got to be hanging one now and then. I don't know what the breakdown is, though, on left or right-handed batters hitting those home runs. The Phillies do not have a homer off him this year. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2 now on Batiste, leading off the second. He'll be followed by Lieberthal and Stocker. That's how to play. Crowd's dressed a whole lot differently than it was yesterday afternoon. You still see a few shirt sleeves down there, but honestly, in a jacket tonight, you're a lot more comfortable. Down the right field line, Lou is over there, but that one too will go to the seats. Now, Batiste is not getting around on Pedro's pitches and hitting them to right field. Last time the Expos visited Veterans Stadium, they took 2 out of 3. Then the Phillies went up there and swept a 3-game series.
Kim hanging in there against those fastballs by Martinez. Keeps fighting them off down the right field side, fouling them back.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to pull anything yet, indicating he's having a little trouble getting around. Tried to backdoor him, but missed. Pretty good at bat by Kim. He works a full count. He got his first walk of the season Sunday in Atlanta.
Pretty good chance he's going to swing at this pitch then, right?
I would think.
So we give credit to Kim for the good at bat. Give credit to to Martinez also. Just keep pouring the strikes in there. So this is one of those good battles.
Joe Kerrigan, Montreal pitching coach, who is from the Philadelphia area. Off-speed pitch gets in. Pedro, tired of running up those fastballs, gives Batiste an off-speed pitch, his second strikeout.
Looks like a changeup from Martinez, and watch the movement on this. Starts over the plate and then just tails well inside. That's a heck of a lot of movement for a changeup right there. That is a good pitch to throw, and a lot of nerve after all those fastballs to throw that pitch on 3-2. Martinez gets the strikeout.
Mike Lieberthal, Phillies rookie catcher, who has made the play of the night so far with a plate block to get Cordero. And let's not overlook the throw. There's a curveball for a strike. Let's not overlook the throw by Longmire, who had amazing accuracy on that throw, considering he kind of made it on an off-balance jump throw.
Made the throw on a run. The ball had deflected off of Kim's glove at third base and kind of killed it down in that little notch down in the left field corner. So he had to come in and kind of scoop it up, and off-balance wrong foot throw threw a strike to home plate. Good play on both ends.
Webster visits with Pedro, and Pedro says, "Gotcha."
Yeah. All right.
The Expos ex-skipper is here tonight. Dick Williams. Remember when he ran this club for quite a long time?
Do I ever.
Dick is in the ballpark tonight. He's a scout now for the Yankees. There's high heat.
That's the proverbial high hard one right there.
Dick Williams. He's been around. Oakland A's skipper, of course. San Diego Padres.
Looks a little more relaxed there than when I used to see him on the bench.
Yeah. Lieberthal drills it to center. The shallow Marquise Grissom is there. Got some more baseball coming up for you on Sports Channel. Monday, of course, the Mets are in. We'll be with you at 7 for the pregame show. Then the Cincinnati Reds 16, 17, 18 from the vet. And on the 24th as well. That 18th, by the way, is a 1 o'clock game. So keep in mind that we'll have plenty of action for you in August. Circumstances permitting. That a good way to put it?
That's about as accurate as you can be.
We'll be with you Monday for sure. Here's Kevin Stocker hitting at 282, 2 homers, 28 RBIs. Well, now Stocker tries a bunt but fouls it. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, we've seen Kevin do that a couple times.
His job right here is just to get the pitcher up there, right, T?
Get on base somehow, get the pitcher out of the way. I believe it was down in Florida. Kevin successfully bunted with 2 outs and nobody on, got himself on base and was able to get the pitcher out of the way. The idea, I mean, obviously, if David West can get a base hit, then you've got something going with Lenny Dykstra coming up. But even if he doesn't, then Lenny Dykstra leads off the next inning. And as we've said so many times, that's where you want to start the inning, with your leadoff man.
Breaking ball misses.
And Kevin has been really good at that this year, about being able to work his way on base in these situations. You know, there's so many different approaches that you have to take as a number 8 hitter, depending on the score of the game and the situation, how many outs, where the runners are. Kevin has been very good at this 2 out, nobody on situation, getting the pitcher to the plate.
Well, he's impressed a lot of people, not the least of whom is his skipper, Jim Fregosi, who a couple of times now has batted him up in the number 2 spot against left-handed pitching. That's a strike, and it's 2-2 on Stocker. Kevin is a .323 lifetime hitter off Montreal. He has faced Martinez only once in the past. It was not this year, and he did not get a hit. Look out. It's a full count on him. He was almost victim number 12, and Stocker leads the Phillies in getting hit, by the way. He has been hit 7 times among league leaders. Ball 4. Stocker does his job. He waited out a walk on a 3-2 pitch. Terrific effort. Second walk given up by Pedro.
Really nice at bat. Those kind of at bats show you that the player, when he goes to the plate, is thinking about what his job is and how he's going to go about accomplishing his job.
Stock at first with 2 out. Westie's up there. He's 2 for 23 as a hitter. Funny thing was, West started the year batting .417 lifetime average. That lifetime average down to 200 now because he hasn't hit much this year. Loves to swing that bat. Phillies and the Expos are scoreless. We're in the bottom of the second. Expos in again for games tomorrow night at 8:05, Sunday afternoon 1:35. Then the Mets 4 night games next week. That's a strike. All of those games against the Mets begin at 7:35. Well, if there is a strike next week, Dallas Green's the luckiest man in America. He comes to manage 4 games here at the vet and then just goes back to the farm. Perfect. Strike.
Doesn't even have to bother seeing the travel agent. Already here.
Just a little high. 2-2 on West.
Hasn't seen a breaking ball or a changeup to this point. I would imagine you guess fastball. Just look, make sure it's in the strike zone before you swing at it.
Certainly David presents a great target at the plate.
And like most pitchers, would much rather prefer hitting the fastball than any of the breaking ball and off-speed stuff.
Got a breaking ball. Or something a little different. Anyway, he strikes out. That's the 3rd strikeout for Pedro Martinez. And we remain scoreless. Tomorrow night, the great left-hander Steve Carlton is honored in pregame ceremonies here tomorrow. Those ceremonies begin at 7:20 with the Phillies and the Expos meeting at 8:05, and all fans receive a limited edition Steve Carlton commemorative print. It's a beautiful full color print commemorating this very special night. Compliments of Rite Aid. Get your tickets. Call 463-1000. I'm sure there's going to be a big crowd here tomorrow. Lefty Carlton had a chance to see Lefty up at the Hall of Fame on Monday, and then again here at the Vet. He stopped by for a game. I believe it was Tuesday night, and he looks great. Absolutely great. Pedro Martinez leads it off for the Expos here in the third inning of a scoreless game. Pedro with 4 hits, one of them a triple. He's batting .105. David West getting a chance to start with the bottom of the lineup as he was able to get Lansing to ground out to win last inning. There were 2 runners aboard. Pedro thinks about bunting, takes a called strike, 1-1.
Contrasting pair of innings for David West so far this evening. Strikes out the side in the first inning, and the second inning gives up a walk, a double, another walk, but because of the play Longmire to Lieberthal came out of that unscathed. So would be nice to find a nice comfort zone somewhere in between those 2 innings and get a little bit of rhythm going for yourself.
Back to second base. Backhanded Morandini. Gets it over and gets Pedro. Nice play by Mickey.
Mickey shading Martinez toward the middle a little bit, goes over and makes the backhand play. Has good time to get his feet set underneath him and make a strong throw. Again, knowing that Martinez, the pitcher, is the hitter, Mickey knew he had a little bit more time than he might have, say, if this guy right here, Marquise Grissom, coming to the plate, was moving down the line. That play would have to be accelerated a little bit with this guy on the move.
I don't think he'd get this guy on that exact same ball. Marquise struck out first time around. Takes outside a ball. Grissom is 0 for 3 facing West. Grissom with 129 hits. Strike. 1-1 on Marquise.
You mentioned in our pregame comparison of the 2 teams, 132 stolen bases by the Montreal Expos. Marquise Grissom responsible alone for 35 of those himself. So
yeah, he's second in the league.
You got a guy up on the top of the order stealing 35 bases. He kind of gets things in motion for those guys in the middle. So makes your job a lot easier and a lot more fun if you can keep him off the bases.
This team has taken the Runnin' Redbird nickname away from the Cardinals. Not that this team is a red-clad team, but I mean the Cardinals are no longer the elite team in the league insofar as stealing bases, and haven't been now for a couple of years.
Yeah, but what this club adds to the mix that the Cardinals never had was the long ball. Well, they move them around, and all of a sudden they got some guys in the lineup that can poke the ball out of the ballpark. So a little bit more diversified type lineup. You know, the Redbirds, they basically had to run to score. That was their game. How they scored their runs. They'd get on, steal second, steal third, and get an infield chopper or infield hit or something and get a run. These guys get on and run around, and then all of a sudden somebody hits one out of the ballpark and get 3 quick runs. Good offensive ball club.
Just a piece of it. Their team batting average of .279 is second best in the league.
Only the Cincinnati Reds, who are hitting .289 as a club, in front of them.
They have hit 103 home runs. Their pitchers have given up 99. Now Phillies pitchers have only given up 94 home runs. The count is full. Pop foul, back out of play. Swung at a high pitch. He could be on first right now. That was ball 4. For years, the Expos couldn't decide whether to bat Marquise first or third. He has spent a few other games this year in the number 3 spot in the lineup, but he's just so valuable as a leadoff hitter that that's where he generally hits. But he also has RBI capabilities. There's ball 4. Third walk surrendered by West, and we're in the 3rd inning. It's a bad pace. Here's Rondell White. Struck him out first time. Of course, West struck out the side in the first, as we mentioned. We got White on a high fastball. 1 on, 1 out on the Montreal 3rd. Expos starting a 6-game road trip. They go from here to Pittsburgh. On the ground to 3rd. Shot at 2. There. Oh, the ball goes into the outfield. It was a double play ball, and the Expos wind up with 2nd and 3rd. Maybe that ball got wet or something. I don't know how Batiste threw it that far off target.
Well, it appears as if he just doesn't get a grip on the ball. Misses second base by a good 10 feet. Mickey Morandini not even making an attempt to go get the ball. That was a routine double play ball, a sharp ground ball right to third base. Kim just missed second base by about 10 feet. No other explanation for it.
2-base error on Batty. So Grissom's at 3rd, White's at 2nd, and here's the heart of the order. Moises Alou, he looked at a called 3rd strike first time he was up there. Phillies will keep the infield back. There is 1 out. They got to try to stay out of a big inning. As a pitcher, Teak, I guess the idea is when one of your teammates commits a faux pas like that, that you just kind of have to suck it up and try a little harder, huh?
Reach back and see if you can find a way to bail him out of trouble. You know, there's so many times that your defense pulls you out of trouble. It's nice every once in a while to be able to return the favor.
Out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alou.
Of course, the timing of this mistake very poor. Putting men, instead of being out of the inning, you've now put men at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, and the number 3 and 4 hitters in the Expo lineup coming up. Moises Alou leading the ball club with 21 home runs. In fact, Moises 21 home runs, 2 more than the entire Phillies starting lineup this evening. So
that hurts.
And Walker not too far behind with 18. So you're in a dangerous situation right here.
High fly ball down the line and left. It is a foul ball.
In every ball game there come a couple crisis points. This not a major crisis. You know, you'd like to at least keep the damage to a minimum, but the first potential crisis.
This game is still 0-0 at this point. Alou hoping to change that right here, and the Phillies conceding a run with the infield back.
Infield back all the way around. Batiste at 3rd, Kruk at 1st, both back. So it's not like just trying to hit the ball in the middle of the infield. If Alou hits the ball anywhere on the ground in the infield, should be able to get Grissom home from 3rd.
How about that? David West gets himself a major strikeout.
And the first step toward picking up your defense right there. Getting the first out, the most important, the most difficult. Fastball right down Broadway, just threw it by Alou on the inside part of the plate. So the big guy reaches back, gets a little extra, and gets rid of Alou. First half of the mission accomplished. Now Larry Walker up with 2 outs.
Walker is the guy that hit the broken bat liner back to West first time up. There are 2 outs in the inning. Takes a strike. Grudging acknowledgement by Walker. Yeah, I guess that was a strike.
I don't know. I think he looked at Jerry Lane and said, it's a little high. Or was it high? Or I thought it was high. But it was a strike, so.
How about Walker telling you he's got a couple of pair of new golf shoes? He's going to be out keeping in shape on the links if there's a strike. Makes his home in Florida, and that's where he's going to be playing. He is a native of Canada. Oh boy, he almost got Marquise Grissom. Wow.
You have to be careful when you're down there on third base. You take that lead in foul territory so that if you do get hit with the ball, you're not called out. If you're in fair territory, of course you are called out. So you take that lead in foul territory. Grissom takes a step forward and does a nice job of getting up in the air. Yeah, you got to realize you're only, once you take that lead, you're only about 80 to 85 feet away from home plate. That ball can get on top of you in a hurry.
Close.
Good
nibbling
pitch.
on the, yeah, sure, it was 0-2, so he nibbled a bit.
Stayed with the fastball on the 0-ball 2-strike count, just off the outside corner. You would think at this point that a good curveball on the outside should work.
Fastball right through the tees. 2 runs are going to score. That'll bring out the Boo Birds. Montreal 2, Phillies nothing. It'll be Batiste's second error of the inning.
Well, David West does all he can. He gets Larry Walker. Yes, it's sharp, but it's right at Kim Batiste, a play that should be made. Kim almost appeared to be trying to catch the ball back between his feet instead of out in front of him where he could keep an eye on it. The ball shoots right through the wicket and goes into left field. The Expos jump on top 2-0.
And poor Kimmy, there's nowhere to hide.
Nope.
Pull the hat down a little bit lower, but he keeps it pretty low to begin with. Now here's Will Cordero, walked and then was thrown out at the plate. So those runs are unearned, but the Expos lead at 2-0.
You kind of have to wonder, Batiste with the 2 errors in this inning, and then there were a couple balls last night that he didn't react to real well down at third base. Got a slow jump on balls that were down the line.
Broken bat infield pop-up. It's going to end the inning. John Kruk is there. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. 2 gift wrap runs, 2 runs, no hits, 2 errors, 1 left. It's 2-0 Montreal. Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Dodge, a winning team, the championship Phillies, and the award-winning lineup of new cars and trucks at your local Dodge dealer. And by the Pennsylvania State Lottery. All over Pennsylvania, people are scratching instant games like Monopoly, the newest game from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Well, Mariano Duncan is telling Kimmy, don't worry about it now. You know, long way to go in this ball game. Just play your ball game.
Well, you can't take it with you, that's for sure, but you have to learn from your mistakes, and it really did appear to me on that second one especially. And the first one was just a bad throw, but the second one, Batiste, when he went to field the ball, his hands back between his legs. You have to field that ball out in front of you with your arms extended in front of you a little bit so you can see the ball. Once your hands get back between your legs, you block your vision and you don't see the ball all the way into your glove.
Dykstra flied to right in his first at bat, takes a strike. It's the second time that Martinez has gotten his first pitch over to Lenny, who, you know, counts on being able to get ahead in the count. That's when he's at his most effective. Curveball misses. 1-1.
Lenny likes to get in ahead in the count when he's at the plate because he gets that 2-0, 3-1 pitch to swing at. But he really doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes either. You know, he's not afraid of letting the pitcher get ahead of him. That's why he has the ability to get in front of the pitcher.
Way down the line and right, but it's a foul ball. Plenty of home run range, but foul. Lenny is uncanny about getting the pitch that he's looking for when he wants to jerk one. He's very good at that.
Well, he's a student of the game, and what he does is he sits on the bench and he watches the pitcher during the course of the ball game, especially against the other left-handed hitters. And when he's looking for a pitch to hit out, he will guess a pitch in a location, but he has the ability to guess where he thinks the pitcher is going to throw rather than where he would like the ball.
Breaking ball gets him. Strikeout number 4 for Pedro. Each pitcher has 4 Ks so far tonight.
Lenny out in front of his off-speed delivery by Martinez. See the back end come off the bat, trying to keep his swing extended long enough to get it to the baseball, but not able to hold back.
There have been only 2 hits in the game tonight. Mickey has one of them, a single. The Expos have just 1 hit. That was Webster's double. It did not figure in the scoring. Fastball is high, 2-0 on Morandini. Mickey back hitting .300 now following his single so far. Bouncing ball. Lansing is there. Morandini is out. 2 down. Lansing makes the play on Mickey's ground ball for the 2nd out of the inning, and Jim Eisenreich comes up. 51 pitches already. I'm surprised. I didn't think he'd made that many pitches. That's quite a few for this point, and the Phillies haven't scored.
They ran a lot of deep counts, especially in the 1st inning. Phillies sent 5 men to the plate, and he did throw quite a few pitches in that inning. 2nd inning, of course, only the 1 base runner, but that was a walk. That takes up a few extra pitches.
Starts Eisenreich with a strike. Jim walked first time around.
That's the pitch that he's been trying to get cemented in all night long and hasn't been very consistent with. That inside fastball to the left-handers, the one that starts off the plate and then tails back over the inside corner. When he's able to throw that pitch and establish the inside part with the fastball, then that opens up the whole outside part of the plate swing for that tailing fastball away.
Missed again. Martinez takes a little stroll here. He gets a 2-1 count on Eisenreich. But the Expos have just gotten him 2 unearned runs, so he's in front now. And the mark of a good pitcher is to come right out, as Tika's often said, and shut down the other team after your team puts you on top. Fly ball left, pretty well hit. Rondell White makes the play, and down go the Phillies here in the 3rd. First time they've been retired in order tonight. So at the end of 3 this evening, it's 2-0 Montreal. Montreal leads 2-0. We've got watch day coming up here Sunday when the Expos and Phillies conclude this series at 1:35. Terrific new item for all fans 14 and under, a hologram watch featuring the Phillies logo and a gold hologram. Plus the band has the 125th Major League Baseball logo. A special gift, compliments of Kraft mayonnaise. Call 463-1000 for your tickets. We go to the 4th inning. 2-0 Montreal. Leading it off for the Expos is their only player with a hit so far tonight, Webster. His double appeared to chase home Will Cordero with the night's first run, but Cordero was nailed at the plate on that great roadblock by Lieberthal. So Webster was cheated out of an RBI. Popped him up. Right near the mound, West looking for help, and John Kruk is there. Krucker caught a pop-up to end the 3rd inning. Now he catches a pop-up to start the 4th. Sean Berry coming up. Berry a couple of times this year has been very close to being taken out of the lineup by the Expos for lack of hitting, and every time that Felipe Alou considers it, he goes on a tear. A walk in his only appearance tonight.
So I guess a good manager would always tell him that I'm considering taking you out of the lineup, but just never do it.
Yeah, let the word get to him. He'll start getting a few hits. Fouls that one back. Tim Wallach manned that position for so many years in Montreal. Wallach had some bad years at the end of his Expo career and didn't start out that well with the Dodgers, but he's really turned it around. It's in. 2 balls and 1 strike on Berry. Mike Lansing on deck. Been a lot of pitches for West. In the air to right field. Should be caught by Eisenreich. 2 outs. Inside the Philly game, 1-on-1 with Rich Kotite. Behind the scenes with the Fanatic. and a baseball roundtable featuring the great Mickey Vernon Sunday at 9 a.m. and again Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. here on Sports Channel. Mike Lansing 0 for 1, ground ball to shortstop. West bids to retire them in order, something he did back in the first inning when he struck out the side. It's hard to believe the weather can change this much in one day. We were here yesterday afternoon just sitting in a pool of sweat doing that ball game. Now here tonight, if we were wearing our short sleeve shirts tonight, Teak, we'd be scrambling for sweaters.
Yeah, yesterday we had the fans on in the booth trying to keep the air moving around.
Yeah.
Tonight, now we got the jackets on. Speaking of having jackets on,
the pitcher Pedro's got one on. No balls and 2 strikes. Breaking ball over for a called 3rd strike. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Expos go in order here in the 4th. We move to the bottom half. It's 2-0 Montreal. Montreal with a 2-0 lead here in windswept Veterans Stadium. Don't forget, we have one more business person special for you. Comes up on the 18th of the month. The Reds will be in town. The final one for the year. And all of the fans receive a Pride of the Phillies poster, a continuation of the Prince Series, compliments of Mellon PSFS. Get your tickets by calling 463-1000. The weather guaranteed to be good when the Phillies schedule a business person special. It's worked out that way over the years. Here's John Kruk. Flied out to left field in his only at bat tonight. It'll be Kruk, Longmire, and Batiste. Looks like Kruk hasn't had a helmet cleaning for a while. Looks like he's wants to keep it just the way it is. Pedro wakes him up. When you talk about getting hit by pitches, Kruk never gets hit. I mean, I think he's been hit twice in his career, right?
I believe you are correct. Randy Tomlin was one. I remember that one.
Pitch is in for a called strike. And Wally Whitehurst hit him in August of '92. On the ground, hard hit, but a play for Walker. Uses Pedro's cover in time for the out. Martinez gets off quickly. Kruk is retired, 1 out.
Larry Walker making the move to first base after the shoulder problem this year. Gets over and gets in front of that ground ball neatly. Decides to let Martinez, since he's already on his way over, handle the putout. So he had a little trouble handling that one pickoff throw, but no problem at all with that ground ball right there.
Longmire chases a high fastball. You know, the Expos have only one player over 30 years of age, and that's a backup first baseman, Randy Milligan. And they don't have anybody with over 6 years of major league experience. They're putting together a good young team here. There's some more heat from Martinez.
Of course, the question being, you know, are the Montreal Expos going to be able to keep this club together?
That's ball 1. Yeah, that's been a perennial question in Montreal. And of course, the question from time to time pops up too, will Montreal keep its team? They're starting to get a little bit better attendance there lately this year. Breaking ball struck him out, gave him the high heat, and then gets him on a breaking ball. 5 strikeouts for Pedro Martinez, and now the fans are going to show their displeasure in typical Philadelphia style for Kim Batiste.
Well, at least if you're going to get this treatment, you know, get it in a situation where you've earned it. And I guess a 2-error inning will earn you the rousing reception that Kim just received.
Been a tough night for Kim all the way around, striking out his first time up. Foul ball, chasing Larry Bowa, strike one on Kim. Jim Fregosi always felt that third base was one of the toughest positions to play. You know, Jim was a shortstop, of course, in the heart of his career. Wound up playing a little third at the end of his career. Made 3 errors in the final game that he ever played here at Veterans Stadium. And I have the scorecard to prove it.
Yeah.
He was your teammate on that.
One of them was made while I was pitching, so I have the memory to prove it.
Puts it in play. Berry's got it. And Batista's out. Phillies go 1-2-3 in the 4th. After 4 tonight, it's Montreal 2, Phillies nothing. Check the scores this afternoon. San Diego defeated the Cubs 4-2. Tonight, Todd Zeile with an RBI double. The Cardinals lead Pittsburgh in the 4th. Believe it or not, Tommy Glavine issued 2 bases loaded walks, and Cincinnati leads Atlanta 5-4 in the 4th. Mets 4, Florida nothing. It's Houston 2-0 over San Francisco. Giants have fallen in hard times. Los Angeles at Colorado later. Let's check the American League. Cleveland and Boston still on a rain delay. Toronto leads Detroit 3-1. Ed Sprague has a 2-run double. Kansas City 1-0 over Seattle. Baltimore 1, Milwaukee 0 in the 2nd. Cal Ripken an RBI triple. Jimmy Key goes for his 17th. Yankees have a lead for him. And later Chicago at California, Texas at Oakland. Right here at Veterans Stadium, it's 2-0 Montreal. Pedro Martinez takes ball 1. Good play by Morandini, retired him first time up. We're in the 5th. And West falls behind the pitcher, 2 balls and no strikes. It was the inning in which Martinez started with a ground out, where the Expos went on to get their 2 runs. And there's ball 3. Sure don't want to walk the pitcher.
Especially when you work so hard to get Lansing out to end the top of the 4th inning, getting yourself in a position to get the pitcher to lead off. Want to go ahead and get that out. Try to make this 5th inning as easy as possible.
If you're Martinez, you're probably taking another pitch here, wouldn't you think?
If you got any sense at all, you are. You're going to get the same fastball on 3-2 that you're going to get on 3-1.
And there is ball 4. He definitely didn't want to do that. Well, that's his 4th walk. The object of being in the dugout is to show no reaction, and they're good at that. But you know what he's thinking.
As difficult as it is at times.
You know what he's thinking. Marquise Grissom has struck out and walked. Scored the first Montreal run.
I know what he's thinking, but I can't put it into words.
You shouldn't. Pedro puts on the warm-up jacket on this, for August anyway, chilly night. And West is out of his groove right now. Had a pretty good groove going last inning, and Pod's keeping an eye on him here, counting the pitches.
The little clicker he keeps in his hand every time David West throws the ball to the plate. Punches up another number on him.
That stays fair. Got to let it go, and it's a foul ball. That was a smart thing to do. They were not going to get anybody.
And that's a play that Mike Lieberthal makes the call on. David West, of course, with his back to the play, to first base over fielding the ball, should know that Marquise Grissom is running and should know that he does not have a play just the way the ball came out there. But Mike's job is to keep yelling, let it go, let it go, let it go, and then follow the ball down, as he did as soon as the ball crosses the line into foul territory. Touch it. Make sure that it doesn't hit something and go back into fair territory. Of course, that's not as likely to happen on AstroTurf here at the Vet as it would be on a natural surface somewhere. But once you get that ball in foul territory where you want it, make sure you touch it and keep it there.
Chased one. Marquise a little anxious there. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Grissom. He did strike out first time up.
And that was the pitch right there that he struck out on the first time up. The ball up and out over the plate out of the strike zone.
Everybody says the Expos have the best outfield in the National League, if not in all of baseball. Tough to argue with that. Just missed. 2-2. Normally when you talk about that outfield, you're considering Larry Walker being amongst them. Double play ball. Stocker gets one. There's the other one. Marquise Grissom grounds into a double play. Even if you have great speed, if you hit the ball right to a middle infielder like that, you'll get two.
Marquise Grissom not going to hit into too many double plays, but this is a routine one against him. Hard ground ball. Stocker moving toward the bag as he fields it. It almost automatically. The ball takes Stocker right to the bag. It's a matter of catching it. You've got a couple steps, get on the bag, and then of course, just like a routine ground ball, throw it over the first base.
Rondell White. Rondell struck out and reached on Batiste's first error. Breaking ball for a strike. David had no control of that breaking ball early in the game. Seems to be getting the grip of it a little bit better. Another one. Just missed. 1-1.
David using that breaking ball to get the strikeout of Lansing to end the fourth inning.
And it's 1-2.
And what being able to get that breaking ball over the plate does for you is if you can throw that over on occasion, then the hitter cannot go to the plate and just anticipate the fastball. He has to at least consider the fact that you may throw the breaking ball over for a strike. Now, if you're throwing all breaking balls and they're all balls, then the hitter's just going to ignore it. As soon as he sees it spinning, he's going to take it and take his chances that it's going to be a ball and just lay back and try to time the fastball. So very important to be able to get that second pitch over.
Line smash to left field over the head of Longmire. Hits off the fence. Play to second base. And he's in with a double. It's a two-base hit for Rondell White. Only the second hit for the game in the game for the Expos, and they've both been doubles.
Got the breaking ball up and in the middle of the plate this time. Before the breaking balls were down, this is a little bit more of the hanging variety up. Rondell White fortunately didn't get it in the air very much. Hit it on the line, not able to get it over that left field fence. Hit it plenty hard. Tony Longmire plays it back in. So how big was that double play now? Saves the Phillies at least a run to this point.
Moises Alou, who has struck out both times, he was called out on strikes in the first inning. He struck out swinging in the third. Lieberthal keeps it in front. There's no advance by White. Lieberthal has played an outstanding game tonight.
That was an overcorrection by David West. He had just thrown the high breaking ball that White hits for the double. So he says, okay, I'm going to make sure I get this one down now. Make sure you get it down. Make sure you get it down. And he took it and buried it in the dirt well out in front of the plate. Lieberthal doing a real nice job on the long hop of being able to keep that ball in front of him and keep White from advancing. Sometimes you become so conscious of your mistake that you made on the pitch before that you over adjust.
Ooh, here's a slam too. Over the head of Longmire. It's going to score White. Alou will settle for a single here, but the Expos take a 3-0 lead.
Tell if that was a cut fastball or some kind of a breaking ball. Again, not very high, but very well struck.
71st run batted in for Alou. The Expos now ahead 3-0. First time they've had back-to-back hits. Larry Walker has lined out and reached on a Batiste error. Held the swing. No, he didn't either. That's a strike. Strike one on Walker.
Mike Lieberthal didn't realize right away that Jerry Lane had called the strike, was asking for the appeal down at third base from Paul Rumby on a pitch that was already called a strike.
Breaking ball for called strike 2. Alou at first, 2 outs in the inning, and the Expos lead 3-0. It's the first time they've picked up an earned run tonight. Foul ball. Well, I guess the Montreal Expos of all teams can sympathize with what the Seattle Mariners are going through right now with that long road trip. They had a big chunk of concrete fall off their stadium on the outside part a couple of years ago, and they had to spend a couple of weeks on the road.
And of course, a couple of years ago when they had the big convention down in Houston, the Astros had one of those trips.
And they had a pretty good trip. They finished with a better record on that trip than they did for the year, percentage-wise.
I don't think they were ready to spend the whole season on the road, though, at that point.
Oh, no. Here's a ball hit to the alley in right center field. Let's see where Alou winds up on this one. He's being sent around third base. Walker gets an RBI double to make it 4-0 Expos. So the Expos came into the inning with just 1 hit, and they have 3 of them by 3 consecutive batters.
Walker hits this again. The high hanging breaking ball stays up and in the middle of the plate, slams it into the big gap in right center field. With 2 outs, Alou was off and running. Even though Dykstra gets to the ball fairly quickly out there as it plays off the wall, no chance to get Alou. So Larry Walker stands on second base with a double. And that's kind of ironic. Twice David West has been able to get Mike Lansing for the 3rd out of the inning and set up the situation you want. Pedro Martinez leading off the inning. The first time in the 3rd inning, through no fault of his own, a couple errors by Batiste, he gives up a couple runs. This time, through a lot of fault of his own, walking Martinez the first part of it to start the inning, and now giving up the 3 straight hits, has given up a couple runs in this inning. So the innings that are supposed to be the easy innings have turned out to be the most difficult ones.
Will Cordero has walked and popped up.
Also have to remember that the 2 outs in this inning were that hard hit ground ball by Marquise Grissom, the double play ball. Just happened to be hit in the right spot for the Phillies. Kevin Stocker playing way over in the hole.
Boy, I'll tell you, you're right, Tick. He is way over. Let's see if we can get a shot of Stocker and where he's playing. How about that?
He's almost playing behind Batiste. And a lot of real estate between Stocker and that second base bag. Mickey Morandini moved over toward the middle, but still a big gap between Morandini and Stocker in the middle of the Philly infield.
Two balls and 1 strike on Cordero. Well, the Expos, after getting a couple of gift runs, have earned a pair of their own, and it's 4-0 Montreal in the 5th. Play at second. Morandini sneaks in. Safe. Had a shot at him.
Well, if you're Larry Walker and you're on second base, you only have 1 guy to watch, and that's the second baseman. Stocker so far over in the hole, don't even have to pay attention to him. Walker just barely able to get the hand back in before the Morandini tag.
Good throw would have had him. Fly ball. This one should be caught. Eisenreich puts it away, and the inning is finally over. But the Expos add 2 on 3 hits. 1 man left on base, and the Expos lead 4-0. Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by your Quality Plus Ford dealer, who invites you to test drive the brand new 1994 Mustang convertible. By Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages, the Yellow Pages 9 out of 10 people use, the genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. And by Nationwide Insurance Enterprise. Nationwide is on your side. Your Nationwide insurance agent in New Hope is Alfred Savio. David West not too happy right now, and he may be coming out of the ball game. He's due to bat third, and there is bullpen action now for the Phillies. So Phillies trailing 4-0. It could be a night for David. Mike Lieberthal leads it off. It's Lieberthal, Stocker, and West due to bat. Tom Edens throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Lieberthal lined out to center field in his only at bat. Philly's going to see some more good pitching in this series. Butch Henry, who is 8-2, his .800 winning percentage, second best in the league, will be hurling tomorrow. And then the only 15-game winner in the National League, Kenny Hill, goes here on Sunday afternoon. Lieberthal chased a pitch. The pitching-rich Montreal Expos. Kenny Hill. You know, Teak, since everybody would probably agree that they have a better bullpen than Atlanta, if you rated them staff for staff, which one's better?
Well, I'll tell you, the Atlanta Braves get a lot more publicity about their starting pitching, but you know, when you look at the Expos starting pitchers, they're not all that bad. Jerry Lane has his mask removed for him. He'll check to make sure all the bars are still in place. Little wake-up call. Watch this one. Catchers get beat up every once in a while. Every once in a while, gets by. Oh yes, hello.
That's why you wear them.
Wake-up call. But the Montreal Expo pitching staff, very underrated, and you know, not a whole lot of publicity because they have not won in the past. The Braves, of course, because of their winning records over the last few years, have got a lot of publicity, that pitching staff. But this staff right here will match up with the Atlanta Braves very nicely.
Well, he had retired 7 in a row before this walk to Lieberthal. Last batter to reach is the guy coming up next, Stocker, on a walk. Phillies have only the one hit. That was Morandini's single back in the first. Pedro has just issued his third walk. West out in the on-deck circle. Phillies not tipping their hand just yet. Here is Stocker. Drew a nice 2-out walk in the second inning to get West up at the plate. And the Expos look for a double play. Every once in a while, Pedro goes back and takes a walk.
There's a little meeting back here. Go behind the mound, have a meeting with all your friends. Of course, when you're walking people, there aren't too many people show up at that meeting, so you go back here and stand by yourself.
Was the most classic return to the mound ever by Al Hrabowski?
Well, he didn't have any friends because everybody was scared to go back there with him.
Line drive double play. How about that? Can't hit him much harder than that. 2 outs in the inning. West is going to bat. Bases empty, 2 out. Westy will stay in the ball game.
Stocker hits this ball right on the button. That fastball again tailing back out over the plate. You can't do anything about this. If you're a runner at first base, you're just hung out to dry, because when you take your lead, you're already past the first baseman. That ball down there so quickly. Larry Walker, no problem at all turning that double play.
West struck out first time up. High fly, and Grissom was playing the other way, but it's so high in the air he has a chance to get over, and down go the Phillies in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. And after 5, it's 4-0 Expos. Montreal leading the game by a 4-0 score at this point. Phillies having trouble posting runs. They had just 1 yesterday and none so far today. And the Expos are again here tomorrow night for Steve Carlton night. Also Sunday at 1:35. Then those Mets for 4 straight night games starting Monday, all of them at 7:35. 463-1000 the number for your tickets, and we'll hope to see you here to see either the Expos and or the Mets. Final visits of these teams this year. Runaround Sue, huh?
The runaround fanatic out entertaining the fans between innings, doing his usual great job. Remember when the mascots first came into the game, all the traditionalists were saying, oh, this is terrible, you know, you're taking the focus away from the game, but they have turned out to be very popular additions to Major League Baseball parks. And the Fanatic, of course, if not the best, right up there in the top 2.
Lenny Webster has a double tonight. He also popped up. He'll try to get something going here in the 6th. Expos try to win a game and stay ahead of those Atlanta Braves, hopefully add to their lead. Here's a pop-up that's going to get out of play. They're ahead by 5 starting action tonight. Take a look at those National League East standings. Mets 52-54. Their announced goal prior to the strike is to finish ahead of the Phillies, and they have a 1-game lead pending that 4-game series here next week. Mets want to finish at 500 and ahead of the Phillies at strike day. Solid to center field. Dykstra back, has it lined up, gets it. Webster out on a deep drive to center.
David West, the last couple innings, giving up some hard-hit baseballs. Remember the couple doubles and the single by Alou last inning all hit on the button. Here, Lenny Webster, the first out, hits the ball hard, but hits it to the deepest part of the ballpark. Lenny able to get back and corral it.
John Barry has walked and flied to right.
So not a good indicator when you're watching the last couple innings for David West. The Montreal Expos pretty much right on top of the stuff that he's bringing up to the plate.
Three balls and no strikes. David West reaches the 100 pitch total. That does not surprise me. Right down the middle for a strike, and it's 3-1 on Berry.
Well, as we were talking at the top of the broadcast about David West and possibility of the tired arm right now, the innings just about where they were last year, but that 100 pitch total, now 102, shows why the fatigue should be setting in. He has thrown a lot of pitches to get the job done this year, and the balls take just as much out of your arm as the strikes, so that's why the idea is to throw as many strikes as quick as you can, get the job done, save the wear and tear on the arm. But David has taxed that arm a lot this year by the fact that he's walked so many hitters and consequently thrown so many pitches.
Here's the way the ERA has gone up month by month for David. We don't have August in there, of course, but he has just issued his 5th walk of the ball game tonight. Now here's Lansing. He's gotten him twice to end innings. Looper, right field side. It is a foul ball. Good thing, too. Well, the only way he'll get Lansing to end the inning here is if he grounds into a double play or lines into one.
Strike him out, throw him out.
Yeah.
Let's go through all the possibilities here.
Well, let's see. We could have. No, you can't have a
base hit. Throw out Berry at third, and Lansing tries to go to second. We throw him out there.
All right, Teague. There are other ways to do it. You're right.
Any of them would suffice at this point. Don't care how you get it done, just get it done. End the inning right here. But if you want to do one of those exciting ones, that's all right. Gives us just a little something extra to talk about.
From the Phillies' point of view, the most exciting play of the ball game was Lieberthal's block of the plate when they got Cordero. Here's a ball hit to right. Going to be good for 1 out. Lansing is retired. 2nd out of the inning. Pedro Martinez will bat with Berry at first and 2 down. Here's Pedro. He is grounded out and walked tonight. Breeze starting to kick up a bit here at Veterans Stadium. Out of play, strike 1 on Pedro Martinez, who is hitting 103.
Hey, you look at that 103 batting average for Martinez, and he doesn't swing the bat like a 103 hitter. It's not that bad of a swing. You know, most pitchers are either bailing out or, you know, this real awkward swing. But Martinez's swing does not look all that bad. Just has not got a whole lot of hits this year. Batting right around the 100 mark. That means he's getting 1 hit every 10 at bats.
And would you believe that's better than his lifetime average? 0.91 lifetime.
That's because he's a starter now. He's getting to bat on a more regular basis. Relievers don't get that many at bats, so I can see how he's making progress.
Did you ever have an extra base hit, Teak?
I gave up a lot of them. I guess that qualifies as a no.
Good dodge.
15 years, 10 hits, 10 singles.
Well, yeah. High fastball gets in. Pedro strikes out. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No runs, no hits, 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom half of the 6th. 4-0 Montreal. Fans, for the 2nd consecutive year, the ALS autograph party and auction scheduled for August 25th is a sellout. A total of 5,000 tickets have been sold, the maximum number the Phillies can accommodate for the event. $20 tickets just for the auction portion are still available by calling 463-1000. A little windy here at the Vet. Fans are dressed for the weather. But they're watching the Expos take a 4-0 lead here as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Only 1 hit so far for the Phillies. All of a sudden the Phillies are in a run drought. Teak had 1 yesterday and none so far here tonight.
Yeah, well, the lineup, the way it exists right now, we talked about Moises Alou having more home runs than the entire lineup. So, you know, you have to scratch and fight for your runs. And the Phillies right now, the last couple of games, have not been hitting the baseball well, have not been bunching their hits, consequently not scoring a whole lot of runs.
Dykstra has flied to right and struck out. Lenny is 0 for 2. Lenny's been getting some hits and been getting his share of walks since returning from the disabled list, but he doesn't have his patented multi-hit game yet. Tried to jerk a home run here tonight, and he did have home run distance on the ball, but he pulled it foul. That was in his last at bat. Lenny, one of the Phillies' top hitters here at Veterans Stadium, batting .314 at the Vet this year. Pedro works him in. 2-0. Woo. .75 pitches for Pedro at this point. He has worked with much more efficiency here in the last couple of innings.
Averaging about 15 pitches an inning. Not too bad.
Strike. 2 balls and a strike.
You like to see your starting pitchers around that number. 15 is a good number for a starting pitcher if you're trying to gauge where he's at during the ball game. 15 pitches per inning, a pretty good number. If you can stay below that, you're doing an outstanding job.
Honey gets into this one. Out into right field, Alou makes the catch. By the way, Alou was the left fielder at the start of the year with Walker in right. So when Walker went to first, he moved over to right field, and they will platoon in left field. Mickey Morandini has the only Phillies hit of this game. He got it as the 2nd hitter the Phillies sent up there back in the 1st inning. And so there have been no hits allowed since that point by Pedro Martinez. Phillies didn't have a hit after the 4th inning in yesterday's game. Breaking ball for a strike to Mickey. Pedro's kept it a little bit interesting by walking a couple, 3 in fact. Look out. He almost got hit by that. Pedro leads the league with 11 hit batsmen. But as Teak pointed out, he doesn't often get a lefty.
I'll tell you what, if that didn't have that little bit of tail right on the end of it, would have had Mickey right on the knee, and that would have been a real biter. Then comes back, throws that hard fastball inside, and then comes back with the changeup
away
on the outside part of the plate. That's not fair.
No, it's not. But you'd have done it. If you could do it.
If I could throw that hard, I would have done it. I couldn't throw that hard.
Got him. That looked like a sinker. Morandini strikes out. Strikeout number 6 for Pedro.
Took a little bit off of this pitch. Off the plate outside. Now takes a little bit off down out of the strike zone. Morandini out in front, not able to make contact. So Pedro Martinez showing a couple different pitches right there. Fastballs in, off-speed changeup away, and then some kind of an off-speed pitch down below the strike zone.
Look at Pedro. He likes a little support. Jim Eisenreich has walked and flied out. He fouls one back. Jimmy really has been the Phillies' best hitter since the All-Star break. He's hitting at an even .300 right now. Coming into the ball game at .364 in the game since the break. Two balls and a strike. Bases empty, 2 out. Martinez facing the Phillies here in the 6th. Out of play. 2-2 on Eisenreich. How about Jimmy winning the home run hitting contest at Cooperstown the other day when he wasn't even scheduled to make the trip? Jim Fregosi had given him the day off so he could see his wife in a roller skating competition, but he couldn't get there because the plane was canceled. So he came back and took the trip with the Phillies and wound up winning the home run hitting contest. He strikes out. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Phillies go in order here in the 6th. We're heading for the 7th inning, and Montreal leads it 4-0. 7th inning at Veterans Stadium. It's 4-0 Montreal, and they are at the top of their lineup as they try to add to this lead. It's Marquise Grissom. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He has scored a run following a walk in the 3rd inning. David West was all but out of this game. They were going to pinch hit for him. Bullpen was up, but there was nobody on base, so Jim Fregosi let him bat, and so here he is working into the 7th inning. In the air to center. Of course, it should be pointed out that only 2 of the runs are earned, so he really hasn't done a bad job. Grissom is out, 1 down here in the 7th. Now David will square off against Rondell White, who has struck out, reached on an error, and doubled. He scored 2 of the Montreal runs. Fouls it back. Strike 1 on White. White was Montreal's 2nd pick in the 1st round of the 1990 draft. He was the 24th player taken. He was compensation for the Angels signing Mark Langston. Dykstra catches that liner for the out. College football coaches shows coming up here on Sports Channel. We've got them for Penn State, Temple, Notre Dame, West Virginia, Bucknell, North Carolina, Florida, and James Madison. So if you want to know what the coach has to say, this is where you want to be looking. Here's Moises Alou. 1 for 3 RBI single, and he scored a run. Out of play. Did you ever see a worse or scarier injury to look at than the one last year where he broke his leg in St. Louis?
Oh, that was the kind of, just give you a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach. Went around first base and the ankle snapped in 2 places.
Oh, yeah, that was bad. Curveball for a called strike. Moises made his major league debut against the Phillies in July of 1990. He was with Pittsburgh at that point.
Still see Moises as a result of that injury wearing, even though it is healed and he's been playing all year, still wears that protective device on his ankle just for extra support. Try to give a little extra support to the leg right there, where obviously there has to be a weakness after that kind of a fracture. Sure hasn't hurt his run production this year.
Way outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now he's having an outstanding year. His RBI tonight was his 71st. Hitting at .336. Out of play on the right side. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes on Alou. David West now, with the innings he has worked tonight, has pitched more innings than he did all of last year. Of course, he was a reliever last year. In the air to center. Dykstra is going to get all 3 this inning. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Stretch time at Veterans Stadium as we go to the bottom half of the 7th. It's 4-0 Montreal. Montreal Expos are ahead 4-0. Some fans expressing their sentiment here to the players. Bottom half of the 7th, and the Phillies have to try to get something going against a guy who has been really tough on them tonight. Has held the Phillies to 1 single. It was a first inning hit by Mickey Morandini. Pedro's line right now. 3 walks, 7 strikeouts.
Pedro has not faced more than 3 Philly batters in any inning since the 2nd. Did give up the leadoff walk to Lieberthal in the 5th, but he was erased on the line drive double play off the bat of Kevin Stocker. So
Phillies want to try to put a little pressure on him here. He has 1 complete game this year. It was a shutout. He also was used once in relief this year and didn't earn a save in that game. Pitched a 1-hitter on April 13th against Cincinnati. Went 8 innings in that one. Kruk chased one out of the strike zone. Ball and 2 strikes on John. He's hitting at .295. Shaking his head. Pedro has mixed up his pitches real well. He's kept the Philly hitters off balance. Called 3rd strike. That's the 3rd consecutive strikeout for Martinez. He has 8 for the ball game. And Kruk's reaction.
How can he make a pitch like that? Right on the corner.
Tony Longmire has struck out both times up there tonight. He takes high, ball 1. One ball, 1 strike.
Martinez, who early in the ballgame featured most of his fastballs to the left-handed hitters on the inside part of the plate, appears now to be moving toward that outside part of the plate.
Twice this year, Pedro has struck out 10 in a ball game. He did it against San Francisco back in April, and he did it against Colorado in late May. Down the left field line, a foul ball. Berry over, but the ball is beyond his grasp. Nice effort by Berry, but that's a ball that was not caught. Action in the Montreal bullpen.
Jeff Shaw, the right-hander, up and throwing. Mentioned only 1 complete game for Martinez this year, so Felipe Alou just keeping somebody ready.
Showing precious little signs of needing any help, at least not yet. Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach from Philadelphia, and Temple right next to the skipper.
It's going to be a little disconcerting if you're Martinez. You've struck out the last 3 batters in a row, and your manager's got somebody warming up.
There's a base hit. Tony Longmire gets only the 2nd hit of the ball game for the Phillies. Their first hit since the opening inning. So we will not be seeing a one-hitter tonight, and that's okay with Phillies fans. Kim Batista's hearing it from the crowd again. Kim with a couple of errors in the field. He has struck out and grounded out at the plate. Batista in his career facing Martinez, 1 hit, 6 at-bats. Fastball away. Time called now. Webster wants to talk with his hurler. He's noticing that Pedro is not exactly the same pitcher here.
Sure, the substance of this conversation is, you've got the 4-run lead. Okay, you gave up a base hit. Don't be too cute. Don't mess around. You're down at the bottom of the order. Challenge the hitters. Make them get the job done. Joe Kerrigan on the phone to the bullpen, probably checking, see how Jeff Shaw is coming along down there.
That's a strike. It's 2-1 on Batista. In the air to center, but it's going to be caught by Grissom, playing in just about the right spot. That's out number 2 in the inning. Pedro Martinez has just reached the 100 pitch mark. 58 strikes. Runner at first, 2 outs. He'll go now against Lieberthal, who has lined to center and walked. Lieberthal with the highlight of the night for Phillies fans, with a tremendous plate block to keep Cordero from scoring. The runner actually in ahead of the throw, but could not get his foot to the plate because of a terrific block set up by Mike. And the game was scoreless at that point, so it was a key play. Two and nothing. Martinez has walked 3, Lieberthal being the last to draw one. That was in the 5th. So we have 2 Pedro Martinez in the National League. The other, of course, a relief pitcher with San Diego. Strike, 2-1.
Phillies again working their way down toward the bottom of the order, so down by 4 runs. Heathcliff Slocum up and starting to throw in the Philly bullpen.
Good eye by Lieberthal. He's not being over anxious and works the count to 3-1. There's Heathcliff. Doug Jones in the foreground. Haven't had a lot of occasions to use Jones lately. In the air to right. Here comes Alou. What an effort. He caught that ball. What a terrific play by Alou. In the 7th for the Phillies. No runs, 1 hit and 1 left. Watch this baby. It remains 4-0 Montreal. Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Budweiser Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. By Pico Energy. There's a new kind of energy around here, Pico Energy. And by Bell Atlantic Mobile. A mobile phone is only as good as the system it's on. Choose Bell Atlantic Mobile. Along with Kent DeColvey, I'm Andy Musser. We go to the 8th inning, and there's not been a whole lot to cheer about for Phillies fans tonight. The Expos lead it 4-0. Here's Larry Walker to lead it off. hard hit but foul. Strike one. Walker doubled to drive in a run in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Walker was telling you in the pregame show that even that glove feels funny out in right field. He's so used to wearing a first baseman's glove now that they sent him to right field the other night and felt kind of strange out there. He does have a great throwing arm, though, doesn't he?
When he is healthy, he has one of the best. He and Mark Whitten, now Raul Mondesi, 3 guys with outstanding arms in right field.
Westy with a breaking ball, and he strikes him out this time. That's number 7 in the K column for West.
Last time up, Walker hits a breaking ball into the gap in right center field. It was up in the strike zone. This time David gets it down and away. Walker comes up empty. That's why that breaking ball has to be down in the strike zone.
Will Cordero is up. He's 0 for 2 plus a walk. He was involved in that play at the plate where he was out. No balls and 2 strikes. West's strikeout high for the year is 7. He's done it 3 times now. I beg your pardon. I just found an 8. Sorry about that. There's a ball hit in the air to left center field. Dykstra says he can get it. There was a little miscommunication out there. Longmire called him off, and it's a good thing he made the catch then. Cordero is out. 2 outs in the inning.
Well, we had a collision in left center field the other night between Longmire and Dykstra. This time, both of them calling the ball, both of them pulling up. Tony fortunately realizes the situation at the last second, able to get to the ball before it lands out in left center field. So we had same play twice. One time both guys go after it. This time almost nobody. But said Tony able to adjust and get to the ball.
Here's Lenny Webster. He's 1 for 3 tonight, a double. Talking about West strikeouts, he had 8 at Houston in a game on June 3rd, a game he lost. He's got 7 right now. Curveball, it's inside, ball 1. How about the Expos getting 82 RBIs from their catchers? Of course, Darren Fletcher, who catches most of the time, went to the All-Star game this year. Jam job and a foul back. Only the Dodgers get more out of their catchers as a position, and as Teak mentioned earlier, Mike Piazza being the primary reason. Missed. 2 balls and a strike on Webster. Phillies to hit in the bottom half of the 8th. Stalker, pinch hitter for West, and Dykstra. West has not given up a hit since the 5th inning. 2 of the runs the Expos have are not earned. On the ground, foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Webster. Look out. That's
if he's gone that far, keep going.
That's supposed to do that. I'm afraid he has seen his last pitch of this ball game.
There's somebody waiting for him when he gets back.
Oh, yeah.
Security. Didn't hear the announcement, obviously, about not going on the field during the ball game.
Save the glasses, though. That's a key thing. Congratulations all the way around. See you tomorrow. Low. Webster draws a walk. That's the 6th walk issued by West tonight.
Well, if you've ever thought about how much fun it would be to join us in Florida in February at Phillies Dream Week, then I'd advise you to call right now for more information. Space is very limited. I'm sure you've heard how much fun we have down there every year, and now with the popular and affordable 4-year payment plan, there's no reason you shouldn't call us right now for more information. The number 215-938-1200 for Phillies Dream Week. And remember, the first week is already filled, so Get your orders in now. Only limited space left for week number 2.
Berry is 0 for 1 tonight because 2 other times he's been up there he's drawn walks. Runner on with 2 outs. Montreal ahead 4-0 in the 8th. Berry takes inside, ball 1. Webster's been on base twice tonight with a double and a walk. That should do it for the inning. John Kruk looking up at it. Wynn playing a little trouble with it. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No runs, no hits, 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Expos lead 4-0.
He is known simply as Lefty. Hall of Famer Steve Carlton will be honored before the Phillies play the Expos Saturday, August 6th at 8:05. Get your limited edition Steve Carlton commemorative print compliments of Rite Aid. Call 463-1000.
Here's our Budweiser scoreboard. They couldn't play because of rain in Boston. They'll have a doubleheader on Sunday. Toronto ahead of Detroit. Ed Sprague with a 2-run double. Kansas City 4-0 over Seattle in the 6th. Baltimore 4, Milwaukee 0 in the 6th. Jimmy Key seeks his 17th win tonight and has a 9-3 lead. Later it'll be Chicago, California, Texas at Oakland. And next half inning we'll check the National League scoreboard, but give you a sneak preview of the National League scoreboard right here at Veterans Stadium. Unfortunately, it's 4-0 Montreal. And we go to the bottom half of the 8th. Stocker to lead it off. Ricky Jordan in the on-deck circle to bat for West, and then Lenny Dykstra. Pedro Martinez bidding for his 2nd complete game shutout. There's Ricky to bat for West. Stocker tonight has walked and lined out into a double play. Three walks, 8 strikeouts for Martinez. He's given up 2 hits. One and one.
Even though Martinez is cruising along right now, Felipe Alou has Jeff Shaw up again this inning in the Montreal bullpen.
To short. Nice play turned in by Cordero. Just going to check the scorecard real quick. I think that's Cordero's first play of the night. It is.
Don't
That's unusual.
Calling his name.
Yeah, unusual for a shortstop to go until the 8th inning to get a play. Now pinch hitter Ricky Jordan batting at .270 with 8 homers, 35 RBIs. Ricky 3 for 20 as a pinch hitter.
That completes the evening for David West. In the 8 innings that he pitched, gave up 4 hits, struck out 7, walked 6, gave up 4 runs, only 2 of which were earned. So all in all, a pretty good night for the big guy. But he trails in this ball game by a score of 4-0.
And there's a look at the official line, just what Teat gave you. Tough to get hits off him. 8 innings and 4 hits. Batter's hitting only what 207 against Westy coming into the ball game. No balls, 2 strikes on Jordan.
But the magic number is when you combine only the 4 hits with the 6 walks, still 10 base runners in 8 innings. Not a bad number, but could be great numbers without the high walk total.
Webster jumps outside. The pitch comes high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. .150 as a pinch hitter. Two balls and 2 strikes. Lenny Dykstra waiting. Phillies with 1 hit in the 1st inning. Morandini got that. 1 hit in the 7th inning. Longmire got that. Pop up. Maybe a play. Walker over. No, he's out of room. Lenny Webster's gone the distance behind the plate tonight. Phillies throwing a left-hander, so Darren Fletcher, who was a left-handed batting catcher, had the night off. Expos one of the few teams that travel with 3 catchers. You don't see that much anymore. Tim Spear is their other hurler. He's a right-handed batter. On the ground, stopped by Cordero, throws from his knees. He got him. Here's a guy that didn't have a play all night, and he gets tested on one like that, and he's up to the challenge.
Not only does he not have a play all night long, but he gets 2 in a row. Neither one of them the routine variety. Right here he goes, sprawls out, knocks the ball down, actually doesn't catch it, but it dives right in front of him, able to pick it up and throw from his knees from deep in the hole. That is a pretty strong arm right there when you can throw from 1 knee deep in the hole and make that one-hop throw over to first base. This young man we mentioned, only 22 years old. A lot of potential right there.
Lenny has twice flied to right and struck out once. He takes a high fastball. Phillies facing a tough customer tonight. Pedro Martinez has been tough right from the outset. Remember when he was hitting guys early in the year, they set up a mannequin for him to pitch to in the bullpen to, you know, because they didn't want to put a live batter in there, I guess.
They didn't want to sacrifice any of the players.
Inside corner for a strike. Strikeouts. Strikes out 9 per 9 innings. Second in the league. Andy Bennis, the only guy who strikes out more per 9 innings. And he has 8 strikeouts in 8 innings tonight.
Well, he came into the ball game with 1 more strikeouts an inning, so this, at this point, will put him dead even if he finishes the ball game with this total.
When he draws a walk, that's the 4th free pass handed out by Martinez. It gets Mickey Morandini up to the plate. Jimmy and his lieutenant, John Vukovich. Felipe Alou sets the infield.
Signaling Larry Walker at first base to play behind Dykstra. With the left-handed hitting Morandini trying to get Walker back a little bit so he can cut off a little bit more of the hole on the right side.
Mickey shortens, takes it in the dirt, ball 1. Mickey has singled, grounded out, and struck out. 4-0 Montreal, 8th inning. Martinez unable to place the pitches exactly where he wants on those first 2.
Phillies not able to generate a whole lot of offense against Martinez tonight. Only the 2 base hits would take any charitable contribution he would like to make, and just sneaks that one on the outside corner. Walks will be appreciated. Saw right there Larry Walker down at first base playing behind Dykstra. Starts up behind him, and then as the pitch is ready to be delivered, backing off.
Popped him up. It's foul. Berry in position. And that'll take care of the Phillies here in the bottom half of the 8th. For the Phillies, no runs, no hits, and 1 man left on base. We go to the 9th, and the Expos lead at 4-0. Padres were winners today. A win for Scott Sanders. He's 4-8 now. St. Louis is leading Pittsburgh 7-2. Luis Alisei with a 3-run double. Atlanta has taken a 13-5 lead over Cincinnati. Fred McGriff with his 30th home run tonight. And he's only the 9th player in history to have at least 30 homers in 7 straight years. Mets 10-4 over Florida. Bobby Bonilla with 3 RBIs in that ball game. Houston 9-0 over San Francisco in the 5th. Colorado leads Los Angeles 2-1 there in the 3rd. And we have a new pitcher for the Phillies. Teak.
Doug Jones on, making his 45th appearance of the season. 2 wins, 3 losses, a fine .220 earned run average, and of course, of the 30 saves that the Phillies had this year, Doug Jones possesses 27 of them. You mentioned earlier that we haven't seen Jones much recently. Jim Fregosi, even though the ball club trailing by 4 runs, elects to put Jones out here to pitch the top of the 9th inning against the Expos, give him some work to make sure that when the time comes and he needs him to pitch a 9th inning to save a ball game, that he will be sharp. So Doug Jones on here to get a little bit of work.
Smash out into left field, base hit, and the ball gets by Longmire. Lansing on his way to second. Probably be a single and an error. It's exactly what it is, single and an error, and Pedro Martinez will not be pitching a complete game shutout tonight. He's giving way to a pinch hitter here.
Mike Lansing hits his ball right on the button to left field. Tony in good shape to get it, but we have to remember that turf is wet and he just didn't have the glove in position. Just a mental lapse there, forgetting what condition the field is in. When that turf is wet, that ball's going to skip very quickly. Skipped right on by him to the wall, and Lansing gets the extra 90 feet to second base.
Here's the all-star catcher Fletcher, hitting at .265. 10 homers, 55 RBIs, 1 for 9 as a pinch hitter. Fletcher once wore a Phillies uniform. They got him from the Dodgers. On the ground, foul ball. The Expos, because they carry 3 catchers, as we mentioned earlier, are able to use one of them as a pinch hitter. Most teams can't do that, because you can't afford to be left without a catcher should the guy in the ball game get hurt. Fletcher gives it a ride out into right center field. That's got extra base written all over it. It's going to score a run. Lansing will come in and score. Pinch double for Fletcher, and it's 5-0 Montreal.
Doug Jones hasn't pitched for a while. This one up in the strike zone. Fletcher again, that up in the middle part of the plate. The ball you can drive in the gap. Just kind of wedges it underneath that pad in right center field. Jim Eisenreich tracks it down, but Fletcher into second, holding on to the hamstring there. Sometimes when you've been sitting on the bench all night long, you come sprinting out of the box, some of the parts start to come loose. Looks like Fletcher a little concerned about that hamstring.
Marquise Grissom takes ball 1. Jim Fregosi, not much to like about this one. 5-0 Montreal. Grissom walked and scored 1 run tonight. Jones gets that in for a strike. It's 1-1. High fly ball, should be caught by Dykstra. And he puts it away, and that's the first out of the inning. Rondell White's coming up now. He's 1 for 4 this evening, a double. He scored twice. Bit low, ball 1 on White. The Expos have 2 players named White. The other is a left-handed reliever, Gabe White, who actually started a game against the Phillies up in Montreal on that last road trip. Jones gets it in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Who's going to finish it out for the Expos, Teak?
Well, even though it's not a save situation, John Wetland warming up in the Expo dugout.
Over to first. Out. Stalker knew he had to get rid of the ball in a hurry, and he did. And he held the runner, too. Fletcher didn't go anywhere. Nice play.
One of those in between hoppers that Stocker had to back up on to make the play. By the time he gets to it, a long throw, a high throw, but Kruk does a nice job of keeping the big toe on the bag and getting the big glove up in the air just enough to catch the ball. That's about as far as Kruk can extend himself right there.
And now Moises Alou, 1 for 4 RBI single, and he takes a strike. You know, talking about Wetland coming in, I think it's the same reason that Jones is working. He's had 2 days off now, and he's used to pitching almost every day, and there's no problem with pitching Wetland in back-to-back ball games. So if Felipe uses him tonight, it does not erase him from tomorrow night's game by any means.
So Felipe likes to, if at all possible, keep from going 3 days in a row without using Wetland in a ball game. He feels that he's more effective if he can keep him, you know, in the ball game on a consistent basis. It helps his control, and it helps keep his arm worn down just a little bit. Got that good pop, and he throws better when his arm is a little bit tired and relaxed, rather than sometimes becoming too strong and then overthrowing the ball and having some control trouble. So 2 stoppers getting an inning's work for the same reason in ball games that is not, you know, in a 5-0 ball game when they normally would not be in there.
Foul ball. Still 1-2 now on Alou. Just to make it that much tougher for the Phillies, the Expos tack on a run here in the 9th. Takes away the grand slam. It's 5-0. Skippers like that. You cannot lose this game on 1 blow, or be tied even on 1 blow. High pop-up, shallow right. Morandini takes charge and makes the play. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 5-0 Montreal. 5-0. The Expos lead it, and they bring in John Wetland.
Wetland making his 48th appearance of the season. 3 wins, 6 losses, 22 saves, a fine .278 earned run average. He is the stopper for the Montreal Expos, although while he spent a stint on the disabled list early in the year, Mel Rojas, who is his setup man, did an outstanding job stepping in and filling in as a stopper. Ended up saving 15 ball games while Wetland was out. So between the 2 of them, 37 of the 41 Montreal saves.
Wetland has had his problems against the Phillies. They've kind of treated him harshly a couple of games. But he's not in a crisis situation here at all. Jimmy Eisenreich to lead it off. Eisenreich 0 for 2 in the ball game tonight. Wetland has lost 2 games to the Phillies. He lost to Doug Jones on May 17th. He lost to Paul Quantrill on June 17th. And he pitched another game against the Phillies on June 19th, and they scored on him there. He's had 3 appearances against the Phillies, and they've scored in every game, and a total of 6 runs. One ball and 1 strike. Well, our congratulations to Jim and Ann Salisbury. Jim writes for the Norristown Times-Herald, and they had their first child tonight. Mary Rose weighed in at 6 pounds 14 ounces. Congratulations to Jim and Ann. Eisenreich at 299. Out of play. Wetland was traded from the Dodgers to the Reds. He was there about 2 weeks when the Reds packaged him in a deal and sent him on to these Expos. He's an interesting guy. He's done a lot of things in his life. He is a born-again Christian at this point, but there have been times in his life when he's
far from it.
He lived on the wild side for a while, including some LSD, which he is, you know, not proud of at this point, but it's on the record. Popped him up. Maybe a play. Berry is giving chase. Won't have room. Jeff Bagwell's 2-run homer in the 5th inning was his 38th of the season tonight, breaking the Houston club record set way back in 1967 by Jimmy Wynn. Bagwell also shattered the club mark for RBIs in a season with 112, and he still has a long way to go. Bob Watson had set the club record with 110 RBIs back in '77. How about Bagwell? What a year.
Does that put you in bad stead when you break the general manager's records?
Nope, not in his case.
I was going to say, pretty good negotiating tool, actually.
Oh, boy.
Go in the next year and say, hey, you were pretty good, weren't you? Yeah, he says, well, I did better than you did. Pretty good position to be in.
Bagwell has really been the best player in the league this year. This should be caught in left field. White makes the play. Maybe I spoke a little too soon. That was no average play.
Well, it should have been a lot more average than it turned out to be. Rondell White didn't react to that ball very well off the bat at all. Broke back and then all of a sudden realizes, oh, I better get on my horse and get in here. Has to make a diving catch out of a play that was a lot more routine than that picture right there shows you. Bottom line, though, he did get the ball and got the job done. It just made it look a little better and a little spicier than it really was.
John Kruk 0 for 3 in the ball game. Kruk does, bat goes flying. Kruk does not go hitless often. Kruk off Wetland, 2 hits in 6 at bats.
I think we got a double hit right here. Home plate umpire Jerry Lane, who already had his mask taken off once in this ball game. Foul tip goes back, hits the mask. Kruk's bat comes around out of his hand and whacks him across the wrist.
Gets him again. How about
so he got hitting the mask with one and on the wrist with the bat. So you got the bat, the ball, everything attacked Jerry Lane on that play.
He's saying, look, there's 1 out in the 9th inning. It's 5-0, and that has to happen to me now.
Yeah, there should be a mandatory 1 foul tip to the mask rule or something. He's taken 2 to the mask and 1 to the wrist. And he's not out of the woods yet. Philly's got a couple more outs to go here in the 9th inning.
Tomorrow night he'll be down at third base and he'll feel like that's a night off.
He'll need it after the beating he's taken tonight.
Calls out a strike. 0-2 on Kruk. Struck him out. Wetland fans John Kruk. 2 down in the 9th. 9th Philly batter to strike out tonight.
Not a whole lot of finesse in Tom Wetland's game. Just leans back, and the majority of the time you're going to get that hard fastball. This time on the outside part of the plate, throws it by John Kruk. You see right there, the pitch already past the hitting area by the time Kruk able to get the bat through there.
Tony Longmire, he struck out twice tonight. He has also singled, one of only 2 Philly batters to get hits tonight.
Wetland throws a fastball, a curveball, and a change, but if you go up to the plate looking for anything but the fastball, you're a fool. He gets it up there in a hurry.
Jammed him and a pop foul back out of play.
That curveball and changeup are just eyewash.
Wetland's father, Ed, is a well-known piano player in the San Francisco area, and he once played in the Cubs farm system. Never made it to the majors, but Wetland has grown up around baseball. John is from San Mateo, California. Buzzed him a little bit. 1-2 the count on Longmire. Fly ball should end the ball game. Lansing is there, and that takes care of it. And the Phillies tonight are held to 2 hits, and they are shut out by Pedro Martinez and John Wetland.